Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Raccomando?
Present.
Mrs. Borelli?
Present.
Mr. Cipollone? Mrs. Mahoney? Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Mrs. Robinson?
Here.
Mr. White? Here. Mr. Winnie?
Here.
Mrs. Zottarelli?
Present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Okay, superintendent's report, or we're just going to do the agenda items? What do we have? Yep, okay.
Report. Good evening, everybody. We've been really quite busy. Everybody is trying to fill all the positions that we have available. Oh, is that good?
No, it isn't.
Good? Okay. And I have to say that I'm very impressed with the candidate pool so far. We've hired counselors and teachers and a variety of support professionals who have all been incredibly enthusiastic and passionate and excited about their work. And so I'm very excited about the quality of the faculty members who are on the agenda for approval Wednesday night to be reviewed this evening. We have a few things that we're trying to clean up. When I first came in, I was talking to Scott, who does most of our technology for the district, and we talked about something as simple as shortening the end of our email so that it doesn't have so many letters at the end. saddlebrooksschools.org is a lot for people to type. And if you are using social media, such as Twitter, and you want to tag Saddlebrook Schools, it's very long and takes up characters. So we talked about ways in which we could possibly shorten that so that it's more accessible. And Scott has discovered that we could do, if you just think of the initials, Saddlebrook Public Schools NJ, sbpsnj.org, 6 letters, .org. And I think it would cost us $35. Yeah, it's good, right? $35, and we could actually run both emails simultaneously for a year. And then that would allow us to send and receive from both emails to get people accustomed to the change, should the board be interested in simplifying something that just takes up so much time when typing. I don't know if anybody's had that experience, but I've had some people talk to me about that. So I wanted to share that with you. That is available to us, sbpsnj.org, should we choose to go in that direction. We are planning for new teacher orientation next week. We have a pretty big group, and we're very excited about the variety of things we'll be doing with the new faculty and staff. So I wanted to invite the Board of Education on Tuesday morning, the 28th, from 8 a.m. to 8:30. We'll be having a little coffee and if you would like to meet any of the new faculty we are appointing, you would have the opportunity to meet and greet for 30 minutes before we get down to business. That's Tuesday, August 28th, and it will be in the library here at the middle high school. So I invite you all to come. And then also, in a similar fashion on Tuesday, although I think you may be busy, and you may be busy, Tuesday, September 4th, we will be having a similar coffee and for our faculty returning to school from 8 to 8:30 in the morning, and that will be here as well. And if you would like to, if the board members would like to come in, if you can, I know many of you are in education, so that may not be possible because it's your first day back too, and greet our teachers and our staff and just say good morning before we kick off. That's 2 nice cups of coffee and half a bagel if you want to come. The other thing I wanted to let you know, I believe everybody has their servant leadership books and journal. So for September, I'm asking the board and the administrative team to read chapters 1 through 3. They're very short chapters. You're free to write in your book, because the books belong to you. You can write in your book or write in your journal any reflections that you have while you are reading, and we can address that in September. We'll talk a little bit about the first 3 chapters of the book as part of one of our board goals and district goals. And one other thing I wanted to share with the full public and the board is trying to streamline the process for the agendas and how they look and what our function is as a group. So one of the things I've actually started, I've asked my assistant to actually type into the agenda is the identification of the chairperson for that particular committee, and the fact that that chairperson would make a motion for the things under his or her committee's purview. So, for example, I maybe seem a little silly, I just put it in quotes here so that everybody knows exactly what to say, that I make a motion to approve the following items, and that the person's name above it is the person who presents that, because I think it's important for the public too, and for each of the board members to be acknowledged for the work that they do within their committee. A lot of times, the public doesn't see what goes on in committee, and it's good for you to know that each of the board members has a part in something. And should that person, that committee chairperson, not be here, another person on the committee could make the motion. Yeah, or Angela could make the motion because she's in all the committees. So, the other thing is that we currently have an agenda that looks as if all of these items are up for approval this evening. So I've asked Ray and my assistant to have a caucus meeting agenda, which is basically just the reports and a review of the regular agenda, and have a separate regular agenda. So we will have because if you were to just read this, it looks like all of this action is taking place tonight, and I think it's a little confusing for somebody on the outside, not really understanding that these are not things that are being approved. So I just want to try to clean things up and make them as streamlined as possible. And I just wanted to reiterate that I'm very excited about all of the new faces that I have been meeting, spending a lot of time with members of the community, the school community. I actually met a few football players this afternoon who were waiting to be picked up outside my office. I said, "Oh, there are kids out there. Let me go say hello." And the one young man said, "What'd I do?" I said, "I didn't do anything. I just wanted to introduce myself to you." But I've been meeting students and parents, and I'm sure that come very shortly, I'll be meeting more and more and more people once everybody comes back from vacation and we have that opportunity. So I'm just really excited for a great start to a school year. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go through the agenda action items as they are here, and if anyone has any questions or anything, let us know. So do you want to, Steve, you want to do yours first? And then if anyone has any discussion, just to ask.
This is for all of education. I make a motion to approve the following items.
Okay, we're not motioning today. Not motioning, but
Right.
just if everybody has
Any
any
questions
questions or anything about any of them.
All of A.
Right.
Through the chair, on 3, I know we don't, are there any dates on any of these trips yet? That's my question.
Wait, what page you on?
Page 3 or number 3? Doing A?
You're just doing,
Under education.
yeah, what page?
It's on page 4.
Okay.
ID number 3.
Okay.
422 through 436.
The first three, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there should be dates.
As long as you have dates, I'm good with that.
If I can find them for you. Yes. Yes. I do. Glamour Girls is November 16th. The senior banquet is March 21st. The marching band trip is October 7th. Jackson, New Jersey, Six Flags Great Adventure, September 29th. And the ESPN trips are, I'm trying to make sure I get these right. The cheer is to February 28th, and the softball is March 13th. And I will make sure that the next time we post the trips, that we put the dates. That's a reasonable, I mean, certainly makes it easier to know what's going on.
Okay, any other discussion? No? Okay. All right, the budget, facilities, finance, right?
Approve the following minutes. Number 1, 2, 3, through 6, I guess.
We're not going to approve, just if anyone has any questions, okay?
Yeah.
Just-
Through the chair.
Go ahead. Well, give me a page, because there's too many pages on this agenda.
Okay, well, it's the bulk of the pages, starting
Okay,
with 5 and
okay.
going through 10.
Okay.
All the workshops.
Yep.
Yep.
When I was on that side before I sat here, one of my questions was, isn't there any way we can cut down the amount of people going to the same workshop?
Yes, there is. I'm not necessarily sure that we're ready for that just yet, and I'll tell you why. So in the month of October, I'll be presenting the standardized testing report. I think it's really important to ensure that these teachers, and this is math mostly that you're looking at here because each teacher is listed individually. I'm a little nervous about turnkey training, because if you're learning something for the first time, you're really not expert enough to turnkey it and share it with your colleagues if you're just learning it for the first time. So this is standards-based instruction in mathematics, which should help us improve standards-based assessment in mathematics. And I just think that right now, it's so important that we give everybody the training that they need. It's also important to acknowledge that this is all being paid for with Title IIA. So this is all grant-funded money. So the math instruction and the literacy workshops are all covered with Title IIA.
Just makes me happy.
Okay.
And through the chair, I'd just like to say, we started focusing on math really hard, I think, last year under Tony's direction, and I'm really glad to see that we are continuing that push and really getting our teachers the professional development they need to move our math schools forward. I think it's excellent that we're sending them out and really driving towards excellence in math.
Thank you. Could I also add, one of the things we decided to do was include the Algebra 1 teachers in this training, because Algebra 1 is the assessment that all students must pass as a graduation requirement. It is the math assessment they must pass. So we added the Algebra 1 teachers to this as well.
And the special ed teachers.
And the special ed teachers, yes. Yes. Okay.
Anybody else?
Just
Go
to
ahead.
give some additional information on number 3. I was updating the board, I started telling the board back when we were building the budget, and I also alerted the county office that my projections for our budget, they were going to have a shortfall of around $300,000 or more dollars in the 17-18 budget, a lot of it coming from special ed. So, and finish up the school year, we were able to appropriate 2 additional sources of money when we were working with the auditors, some aid we received last year and some non-public transportation aid and additional extraordinary aid. So that reduced my number from $270,000 to what you see in front of you, a little over $193,000, which still isn't good. It's about 30% of our undesignated surplus amount, which we're allowed by state to hold 2% for emergencies. Our budget, and you've heard me say this all the time, our budgets are very tight. We don't have any projects in the budget that we can put off. I know you see a lot of things getting done. A lot of this stuff is through our energy savings improvement program that we're doing now, which is an offset in the budget. It's a little detailed, but I don't have those big items in the budget to like maybe hold off. If we get salary breakage, if students move out of district. This is the first year in 11 years I've been here that we've had to transfer from surplus, and the budget is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So while the number did get less, it's unfortunate that we have to transfer from there to balance the budget. This transfer, the only thing I missed, I just alert you now, I may have an audit comment. It was supposed to be in by June 30th, but I told the county office I want to exhaust every single penny and every line. The final report of our budget for every budget line is 0. And this is the number I need, so, I waived all that to get the exact number, so I more forego an audit comment, but I'll take that and, try to get the budget where it needs to be. So that, the next ones, 4 and 5, finish up the transfers I needed to balance the appropriation accounts, and then the final reports of June to give to the auditors. So any questions on that?
Any questions, anybody?
I have
You have a question?
You worked through Mr. Quinn about the math. I'd like to ask, any word on the park scores for math yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Mr. Quinn is aware of that. We haven't had a program meeting. Yes, and I will be presenting a formal presentation to the board in October
Okay.
and to the public. I could review them with you
All right,
if you'd like me to. Can I follow up on that just quickly? So something that did come up, what really is an issue for all districts in New Jersey, not that we don't have a lot to work on, but if you have any ninth grade students, for example, who were in algebra last year, who may have passed the algebra class, but were not meeting expectations on the Algebra 1 assessment in Park, they are required to participate in an algebra remediation course and sit again for Algebra 1 in the fall, while at the same time moving on to geometry. So what I forgot to mention in my report, that if I could ask the business administrator to go back and add this to my report in his notes, is that in some ways we are fortunate that this year the high school is the school in the district with the largest number of free and reduced lunch students. That is a shift for this year. But what that does has provided us with the funding to hire with Title I funds an Algebra 1 remediation teacher, a Title I teacher for the high school, which we haven't had in the past. So we will be, hopefully, by Wednesday night, recommending somebody for that position, which will be completely Title I funded, so that that person could service the students who need the remediation in the fall. And then once they sit for the assessment and move on to another half-year elective, that teacher then can go into the Algebra 1 classrooms and push in and remediate the kids who will be taking it for the first time in the spring. So it really will be a twofold position. One, in remediating the students who need to pass, and there are quite a few of those students, at least 3 sections. And then helping the students who are taking it for the first time, moving in, doing small groups with those teachers. So if that's just a little snapshot of math achievement, it's something we have to really pay attention to.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, anybody else? Any other questions? Okay. And what's next is, so I have to turn on my pages. Go ahead.
Also, on number 19, we approved with the budget submission back in May, the budget, and also we're asking a separate budget question on the November ballot. So I worked with bond counsel, and she provided the resolution that's attached to your agenda there. So it's a formal resolution, pretty much the same language, the $450,000 in November for security items, security vestibules at the high school, Franklin, Long School, and Washington. a district-wide enhancement of our emergency notification system with automatic announcements and calling, exterior warning strobes, wireless door locks, new two-way radio system, and other supplies for classrooms. So that question will be on the November ballot. This is a formal action to send to the county election office.
Any questions? Go
Karen,
ahead.
with that, is moving forward, let's just say it's approved, is that going to be a one-shot tax increase, or is it going to be
One
every year?
one shot for that year. These projects have to get completed during that year, although, like the security vestibules, they'll be bid out and awarded, but the work probably won't get started till when school gets out. So, but we've done over that summer.
So maybe in September, we can go over this again, just with the public, and talk about the tax, what it looks like, okay? Thanks. Okay, anybody else? Okay, Sylvia, you're up.
Okay. Any discussion on the second reading, the first reading of the two policies?
Could I?
Yes,
Yeah, could I
go
do just a little? So the reason why the use of physical restraint policy and regulation was crossed out on the bottom, but then reappears as new on the top, is because over the summer, the state, who had revised this policy late spring and wanted us to adopt it, then revised it again. So instead of doing a second reading of the one that shouldn't be, we crossed that out, and we're doing a first reading of the new one that should be. And that's why it's appearing at the top.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Okay.
Any discussion on the second reading policies 1 through 12? Just so the public knows, most of our policies are state mandated, so it's stress estimate sends us what the changes are and we have to comply. That's really pretty much the changes.
Okay. Okay, good. And next is negotiations. Is there anything?
There's really no updates we can share right now.
Okay. Okay, so the next, we can't do that, and we're gonna go to, committee reports. Are there any other committee reports?
Personnel.
Anything?
Personnel?
You can't do that yet, no. All right,
Personnel, right?
no, not yet. And correspondence?
The letter you received from Lurch, Vincent Higgins, our auditors, is just a standard compliance letter. I guess if you have any questions, about the audit, or you want to address anything to them, there's just an open line of communication.
Okay, any old business? Just to remind everyone that the old business, we picked September 25th to have our training with Matt Lee. Just to mark your calendars, just to,
Through the chair, did you decide on the final topic?
well, this one is the CSA one. It's for the CSA eval and the Board eval. So if you didn't do your Board eval, please do it. And the other thing, yeah, so there, no, we didn't decide on the next topic, but we did, when we did our goals, and we were discussing this, I think, last meeting, that one of our goals was the policy, that Matt Lee said he would come and do a training on that to meet that goal. That would just be for that goal. And so we're looking into a date for that in November. Okay? Anybody else have anything, any new business?
New, question for new business. In regards to the email we got for the nursing position, is that something we discussed now, or is that
No, I can't disclose.
closed?
Good. Anything else? Okay. Anybody else new, old, nothing? Good, ready, we're good? Okay. All right. So, okay, do I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Motion. Second.
Oh, okay. So I don't have to read my statement unless someone comes up, so. My long statement. So did anyone from the public wish to speak? So I'm going to read my statement, so give me a minute. Okay, so residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments, and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. So I'm going to ask you to go up there, okay? Thank you.
I'm not being personal.
No. Who should give us that?
Hi, my name's Janice Scrofani, 33 Rochelle Parkway. It's been a long time since I've been in here. Anyway, I'm here representing the VFW, okay? We've been doing a lot of talking at the Post about getting kids involved. So what we decided is, well, we're having a table Saturday. I have here programs, all the scholarships, information on every scholarship that National has, okay? I don't want to read it because it takes too much time. You guys can go over at your leisure. But I also have here something, it's a letter to the superintendent. It's a form letter. I got it off the internet. But this would be something, flag education for the kids. Okay, there's all sorts of little cutesy things in here. The scholarships for National, though, there are quite a few people who are eligible as adults, veterans, can actually apply for these without becoming a member. Of course, we'd love to have you a member, but you don't have to be. You have the Young American Creative Patriotic Art Contest, which they've opened up to almost every kind of venue of art you can imagine. It was just painting, now it's clay, sculpting, whatever. It's really a wide open thing this year. Also, the Patriots Pen. Okay, that's a tape thing that National has. We, as the Post, would start it up. We usually don't, but we're thinking, well, maybe if kids are interested, we'll try it. Our biggest is the VOD. Now, these all have specific titles that the National wants them to write on. So what I did is I also enclosed the applications for the kids, if they're interested. Like the Patriots Pen, it's why I honor the American flag. And there's about 4 pages of that. Okay, the VOD, why my vote matters. And with this year coming up, I think it's very appropriate. Okay? There's also here, if you guys want to get a little ambitious, there's a VFW Teachers Award too. I thought you might want to see that too.
Thank you.
Now, I do have here also, this is a wheel that we developed because we did open it up to men in 2015. I've been trying to do it 20 years ago, but finally 2015. This is, we call it the auxiliary wheel. If anybody has a question on their ability to join the VFW or the auxiliary, because this is the auxiliary wheel, what I belong to, it shows everyone that's directly, but also underneath, step and adopted parents can join, children, siblings, half-siblings. So it is, very general, and we'd love to see more of you guys join us. Sure. Anyway, that's from National. I just want to quickly tell you about a few things that we're doing. Obviously, this year Veterans Day is on a Saturday. We'd love to have the kids come. We could give you the little history I'm sure you all know about. Armistice Day at the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month, the armistice was signed. Okay, 1954, it was strictly for World War I prior to 1954. 1954, they changed it so that it includes every veteran. Okay? We'd love to see some kids at the services. It's a quick service. We're usually done 15, 20 minutes, but it's very impressive because we have the police color guard there, and they'll actually see respect for the flag in action. Okay? That's Saturday, November 11th. Now,
Do you have a time?
11.
11 a.m.
Be there at 11:11.
I'm sorry, my allergies are really going. Okay, but I also just want, as general knowledge, this is for a weekend. The Garfield VFW has the honor of having the traveling wall in October. Now, we had it here at Washington School. It has to be, my kids are how old? They were, well, my son's 32, my daughter's 30, so this was like 20, I'd say 28 years ago. We had it over at Washington School.
It wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't that long.
Because my daughter was the Girl Scout that presented, and she's only 26.
Oh, excuse me. What's 40 years?
No, I know, and I was there too, so. Probably 20.
Yeah, well, anyway, Garfield's now doing it, okay? The dates that they're doing the traveling wall is October 18th through October 22nd. It's a long weekend. Okay? And it's at, obviously, it's there, Babe Ruth League, the corner of Midland and Outwater. Let's see, Hackensack is having, it's during the week, I doubt that anybody could really make it unless you walk. The POW MIA Day is in Hackensack on September 21st, 12:30 to 1:30 in the afternoon. Okay, and especially with the Korean War vets coming back, everybody's happy on that. Okay, 9/11 obviously was renamed for Patriots' Day. We really don't know, usually the American Legion in Rochelle Park would have a 9/11 service. I really don't know if they're having it yet this year, I haven't really heard. Oh, and also though, I'd like to also say, the VFW doesn't have the an official service for flag retirement. And as I drive around town, there's a lot of flags that need to be retired. But what we do is we sponsor the Boy Scouts. And the Boy Scouts are planning sometime around Veterans Day also, and then in the spring, to have a retirement service at the VFW. So if you can spread the word, you want to retire your flag with honor, bring it over, because we have a bunch already. Okay, and that's it.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Just, what are the meeting dates for the auxiliary?
Okay, our auxiliary,
What night, whatever.
okay, our auxiliary meets the fourth Wednesday of every month. Okay, there are some months that change, but most of the time it's the fourth Wednesday, except for the Christmas party, that's about 2 weeks before. We can't wait, you know? Okay, and well, the VFW post meetings are on their executive board meeting is the first Thursday, and then their executive board meeting, general membership is the second Thursday. And, well, I'll just throw it out there, our newly formed VFW Riders, they've only been around 2 years and they've been doing well, their meetings are on the fourth Thursday of the month.
All right, thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you.
She can share with the teacher.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Okay. Can I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now I need a motion to go into closed session. No? Yes, I'm going to read. I'm reading. I got a long thing to read again. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay. We're going to go to recess to closed executive session to discuss personnel contract negotiations and matters covered by the attorney-client privilege per the Open Public Meeting Act. The subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Action may be taken when the board reconvenes in open session. So thank you, everyone. If you want to stick around, I think it's going to be long, though.
Yeah, there'll be no action.
No action.
No action?
There's no
Okay, there's
action.
no action. Sorry, no action. And then our regular meeting is Wednesday at 7, so. Oh, okay. All right, thank you.